All right. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for State of the Park. For the third time, our third Spark and our third State of the Park, I am so happy to see all of you, and thank you for sharing this week with us. I'm Eva Feucht, I'm the director of the Park Scholarships Program and a Park Scholar from the class of 2002. What a terrific week this has been. It has really given us a chance to connect, to reconnect, to be inspired by the members in our community. And I'm really, really grateful to everyone who took the time to be a presenter this week and to our organizers who have helped make this so successful. This is a milestone year for the Park Scholarships Program, as you know. So we've got it all on our slide, right? 25 years, a quarter century. We are celebrating 25 years of you, 25 years of Park Scholars achievements and impact on NC State and on communities around North Carolina, around the country, and of course, around the world. So for the next few minutes, I want to give you an update on the Park Scholarships Program. I'll share just a few things about the wonderful things that our students are up to, and then we will leave time for you to ask questions, which you are welcome to put in the chat, but I will probably not see them because I will lose my place. I'm already doing it. But you can put them there anyway, and when we get to the right point in the program, we'll take a look and I'll be happy to respond to them, or you can just hold on to them until we get there. Okay, so NC State, we're think and do, right? You've heard that a lot by now, and it fits us really well at NC State, and I'm going to use that theme a little bit here today for our update. So I'm going to give you some knowledge, and then we're going to talk about action, which would be a longer way of saying think and do. I'm going to give you some knowledge about the park program, and then I'm going to invite you to join us in taking action. I'm going to talk about how you can get involved in the various things that I'll describe. We have 3 areas of operation for the Park Scholarships Program. We kind of broadly group our work: the recruiting and selection work that we do, the enrichment work that happens with the students while they're in the program, and then what we call advancement, or telling those stories and then inviting you and everyone to invest and secure our financial future. So I'm going to talk about each of those 3 things. I think it's good to remind all of us first about our mission. What are we here to do in the Park Scholarships Program? So I'm going to read it. The mission of the Park Scholarships Program is to bring exceptional students to NC State based on outstanding accomplishments and potential in scholarship, leadership, service, and character. The program develops and supports Park Scholars in these areas, preparing them for lifelong contributions to the university, state, nation, and world. And for the past 25 years, we have done exactly that. If you're a Park Scholar, you are on this slide somewhere. Except, and I want to give a one final warm welcome to the scholars from the class of 2025 who have been here this week. You'll be on this slide next year. Very, very glad to have you here. But this is what a quarter century of Park Scholars looks like. With the graduation of the class of 2021 next month, we'll have nearly 1,000 Park alumni making a difference all over the world. And this all starts, of course, with recruitment and selection. This past year, we had 2,203 people apply for the Park Scholarship. They came from 97 counties in North Carolina, 41 states in Washington, D.C., and 6 countries outside the United States. Who's eligible? United States citizens, wherever they may live in the world, permanent residents of the United States. And I want to make sure that you all know that a couple years ago, we were able to expand our eligibility to include anyone who graduates from a high school in the United States, regardless of their citizenship status. This year, about 1/4 of our applicants came from out of state. And so about 1/4 of the next class will be from out of state. But the Park Foundation has asked us to be more like 1/3 out of state. So we'll continue to place an emphasis on spreading the word about NC State and the Park Scholarships Program beyond North Carolina. And you can help us do that. And we want to reach diverse applicants from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives. I'm so pleased to tell you about our diversity task force, our diversity student task force. They have been hard at work again this year, implementing a wide range of outreach initiatives. I'm so grateful to them for their efforts. Just a couple quick examples that I can share. They have translated our recruiting brochure into Spanish. And this year they launched a program to help under-resourced applicants prepare their application materials to apply for the Park Scholarship. In fact, I see some of the founders of that initiative on this call. Thank you very much to the students who were involved with that. Our students are really stepping up and doing a lot. So what can you do? You can help us attract top applicants by serving as a park ambassador. And if you graduated from college more than 4 years ago, you can help us by serving on the selection committee, reading the applications and conducting interviews. The link here will take you to a website to read all about those opportunities as well as many others. And we really do hope that you will get involved. Now, I'll talk a little bit about enrichment, what we do with the scholars during the 4 years that they are here. And it's a lot. As you know, everything you see on the slide and more, it even says and more, right? We make an intensive investment in each scholar. And that continued this year. Even in the midst of the pandemic, I am so proud of our students and our staff and our faculty for the ways that they have adapted and persisted through this difficult time. So nearly everything that you see on the slide continued this year. It looked different, but we've carried forward, and our scholars have really continued to support each other to create community through retreats, through learning labs, and we've continued to provide them our programming to help them grow their abilities. We did indeed hold 2 Learning Lab 1s on Zoom. Learning Lab 1 is our trip in North Carolina to study leadership challenges that we face here in this state. Our sophomores studied housing inequality, and our freshmen studied healthcare. Something that I'm particularly enjoying in my 17th year working with the Park Scholars now, and that I continue to see our own alumni be the sources of expertise and leadership that we call on for these trips and for the overall programming. So on our learning labs, we did indeed have many Park alumni who were our speakers or who connected us to speakers. And while we were all disappointed to not travel in North Carolina, we need to acknowledge that there was a significant upside of being able to meet with top-notch leaders all over North Carolina in just a couple-day span. And that is exactly what we did. We also held our 2 distinguished speaker events online, and alumni from all over the world were able to join us for that. Our sophomores held their civic engagement initiatives as year-long service projects. It continued with that this year. And we carried out our full curriculum of Leadership Academy training. In fact, we added to our training this year. Specifically, we grew our diversity education work. And just last week, our entire freshman class, as well as 30 other members of our community, alumni, selection committee members, faculty, participated in the Racial Equity Institute's groundwater program. We know this work is really important, and we're dedicated to continuing it in the future. We'll be able to do so thanks to a new fund, our One Pack, One Park Fund, to support these opportunities. We were all disappointed to not be able to travel this year. There's no getting around that. So we couldn't hold our retreats and our learning labs or our senior gala in their traditional formats. But I do want you all to know that what we've offered to our students is the opportunity to come back, and we're going to give them 5 years to be able to do that, to come and participate, to go to Rocky Mountain National Park with our seniors, or even a freshman retreat, or whatever those experiences might be for their class that had to be modified. And we are going to hold aside the funds for them to be able to join us. And I expect that many of them will take us up on that. Now, I want to give you just a few highlights of some of the things that our students have been up to. You've seen a lot this week, and so you have some sense. I just want to give you a few more examples, and you all know that we could be here all day. So we randomly drew some out of a hat. A few student stories. Let me tell you a little bit about scholarship. I'm going to tell you about Elijah, who last fall won the $100,000 Internet Defense Prize for a computer science research project that he's been deeply engaged in. After graduation, he's going on to a PhD program to continue his work on human-centered internet security. And of course, you can read more about all of these students because my phenomenal colleagues in the Park staff, by the way, can you tell that they're just making all kinds of things happen right now? Like there are just slides showing up and links happening. And by the way, they make all of this happen. I'm so grateful to the Park staff. You can check out these links to read more about these incredibly inspirational students. Anna Sophia was recently named NC State and Park Scholarships' third Churchill Scholar. So she'll be off to Cambridge next year. And she is one of our 4 current students to have received the Goldwater Scholarship. She's been heavily involved at research at NC State. And this is another thing that's exciting for me as I think about 25 years. Her research mentor at NC State is a Park Scholar too. Mary Elting from the class of 2007. And it's been a really exciting milestone to see that coming full circle. I'm going to tell you about Nikhil, who's been engaged in research for years also. That's been a trend for all 3 of these students. He has been using computer science to study the links between genetics and disease. He's another Park Goldwater Scholar, and he was recently announced as a recipient of the NSF Graduate Research Fellowship Program. And just last week, Kelly was named a 2021 NOAA Holling Scholar. This will give her a paid summer internship with hands-on, really substantial research experience. Let me tell you a little bit about leadership. You all heard from some of our student entrepreneurs in Monday night's panel. I'm going to tell you again about Rithika, who runs Sani, which is a fashion company that elevates South Asian designs. I was so inspired by her talk that I ordered the loungewear that she was wearing. If you were there, you saw it, right? She said, I'm wearing it right now. I said, I need that. Here it is, and it's just as good as I thought it was going to be. Our students are leading in really interesting and meaningful ways, like Abigail, who recently launched Erin's Good Girl dog treats. Abigail's inspired by her sister's love for baking dog treats for her service dog. This company has a mission of demonstrating that people with different abilities can hold meaningful employment opportunities, and you can go buy those dog treats online. I also want to tell you again about Lindsay, Michael, and Liam. If you didn't get to hear from them this week, I want to make sure you know that they have founded and lead a coffee shop that employs over 20 adults with various intellectual and developmental disabilities. Again, they're focused on embracing an inclusive workforce that recognizes the strengths that different people bring to a team. Let me tell you a little bit about service, which continues to be at the heart of what the Park Scholars do. The Krispy Kreme Challenge persisted this year. It was virtual. You could do it anywhere you were. They've raised almost $2 million now for the North Carolina Children's Hospital. Truly extraordinary philanthropy, student-led philanthropy. And Service Raleigh, which just happened last weekend, our scholars sent 500 volunteers all over the city or to complete virtual projects. And so service has gone on as well. Noah and Shannon, who you might have met this week, as sophomores, they launched Seaver. They're using their training in engineering and science to design low-cost air quality monitoring systems to be deployed in rural and underserved communities in pursuit of environmental justice. And finally, character, and I believe I could put any scholar on the slide, but I'll give you a couple quick examples. I want to tell you about Elizabeth. Elizabeth told us she had some reservations about co-oping. She wasn't so sure about that at first, but she took the risk, took the plunge, and took part in NC State's co-op program. And what that led to for her is finding out exactly how she wants to use her degree in civil engineering to improve public transportation and build infrastructure that's focused on reducing inequity in communities. I want to tell you about Matt, who, by the way, you're going to meet in just a minute. Matt was recently honored with the Matthews Medal, which is the highest non-academic distinction awarded to NC State students. And the reason he was selected for this honor was because of his myriad contributions to our campus community, including many to the Park Scholarships program. He served as a Krispy Kreme Challenge race director and board chair, and he co-led the Park Philanthropy Council. Again, I could keep you here for a very long time telling you about all the extraordinary things our students are doing, but I do encourage you to stay connected. Rachel Cox on our team does an amazing job putting out stories, and we want to hear your stories, so you can always reach out to us through any of these channels that you see here. Let me tell you a little bit about the things that you can do. You can stay connected. You've done that because you came this week, and whatever your connection to the community is, it's been wonderful to see so many alumni. I've been thrilled to see parents. I've seen siblings. I've seen children of Park alumni, and all of you are indeed in the Park family. Faculty members, advisory committee, we're so grateful that all of you are here. Thank you for being at Spark. I hope that you'll come again in 2 years, and I'm going to give you the date at the end of this session. We want to see you at Spark 2023. Thank you to the hundreds of alumni who have come to reunions this year. We decided last summer that we were going to get together every class online this year, and we have done exactly that. We're up through the class of 2012 so far, and we're making our way through the years. So thanks to everyone who's come. Look forward to seeing the rest of you over the course of the spring and summer. Turns out our alumni have really enjoyed that and have said, you know, this could be a thing once a year. So if you didn't make it this year, I think that's going to be something that we look to keep as a tradition going forward. And I hope that you'll join us. Thank you to the park community members who make time to serve on the selection committee and to volunteer for all these events that I've been describing, like our learning labs and our retreats. Thank you to the alumni who keep your Spiffy profile up to date. Spiffy, our online community, is so powerful, and the power of it is you. The power of it is you taking the time to share your information, to share what you've done, what you're up to, what you have knowledge about. And then our current scholars and indeed fellow alumni can come and connect with you. So thank you for doing that. If you're feeling a little guilty twinge right now, you can go and update your Spiffy page. We'd love to have your latest information. Thank you to everyone who has supported the park program financially. Our program is not yet fully endowed, but we have an extraordinary start, and we rely on philanthropy to continue to bring park scholars to NC State. So I'm so grateful to everyone who's helping us do that. This spring, we had NC State's Day of Giving. You might have gotten an email about it. Yes, many of you contributed. Nearly 300 members of our community gave more than $500,000 in 24 hours. It was extraordinary. The family of Anushree Desai from the class of 2010 made a commitment to add a scholar right now to the class of 2025, which was going to be 39, but after Day of Giving became 40. We're thrilled and we're grateful. Former selection committee leader and park parent Brent Baumgardner established a commitment for our 9th co-named park scholarship. That's funding that will be matched with funding from the Park Foundation's endowment to forever support a scholar. And we're so grateful. And of course, our current students continued to organize our Park March Madness competition. I get nervous every time I see that picture because I keep thinking about trademarks. I'm sure it's all fine. It's all fine, right, Matt? Matt's going to assure me it's fine. It's totally fine. Look how catchy it is. And indeed, we had a terrific competition led by our students on the Park Philanthropy Council. So we've looked now at student and alumni giving going back to July 1st all the way through April 20th. And we counted more than $400,000 in gifts from Park alumni. Thank you. That included participation from almost 33% of all park scholars, which is just extraordinary. As extraordinary as it is, I hope that we beat that record next year too. 33% of alumni are giving back. And so I know you're all eager to hear about the inaugural Juicy Awards. They didn't ask me, they just told me, which is probably good. The Juicy Awards for participation and funds raised during Park March Madness 2021. I want you to meet Matt Trenkle from the class of 2021.
Thank you, Eva, and good evening to everyone on this address. I'm super excited to present our first ever Juicy Awards. The Park Philanthropy Council, which as Eva mentioned, is a group of current scholars focused on creating a culture of giving within the Park Scholarships family, has created the Juicy Awards to recognize the powerful impact of giving by current students and alumni of the program. Park March Madness started in 2013 and has been a student tradition in our program ever since. This spring, though, we expanded the competition to include alumni classes, and they showed up in force. The winner of this year's Juicy Award for the highest amount given by a park class goes to the class of 2002. The park scholars in this class have given nearly $280,000 so far this year. Members of this class have created 2 of our co-named park scholarships, currently the most for any park class. Congratulations, park scholars in the class of 2002, and thank you for your contributions to the program. Park alumni giving is incredibly strong, and we had over 4 classes this year with scholars that made at least 50%, or with classes of scholars that gave, meaning more than half of the current students or alumni in each of those classes made a gift in the last 10 months. 3 of those classes are alumni classes, the very first Park class of 2000, and the young alumni classes of 2018 and 2019. But the winner of this year's Juicy Award for the highest participation, I am personally proud to announce, is the Park class of 2021, our current senior class. Every member of our class has made a gift to the Park Scholarships program during their time at NC State, and this year, 58% made an additional gift to the program. So thank you to all of my classmates, and thank you to everyone for supporting the Park Scholarships program through gifts that you've made. It really does make a difference in helping us achieve the goal of fully endowing our program and making sure that we can continue to host Park Scholars indefinitely.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. It hasn't escaped my observation, probably not yours either, but that's my class and Matt's class. Woohoo! So which classes are going to challenge us next year? Thank you very much, Matt, for your leadership and your inspiration in this friendly competition. I want to make sure that everyone knows that Dana Dubas is here to help you if you want to have a conversation about giving and supporting the Park program. Dana is our extraordinary Assistant Director of Development. She made so many things happen on Day of Giving and in so many other ways, and including for Spark, she has been the primary staff point person in collaboration with Lauren Caddick. So thank you very, very much, Dana, and please feel free to reach out to Dana if you would like to learn more about giving. Okay, well, now I'm going to open it up for questions, which you can put in the chat or you can raise your Zoom hand. And while the questions are coming in, Rachel is here to take a photo. So if you are up for turning on your camera, we'd love to see your smiling faces, and we'd love to know if you still remember how to do this, or if you've learned how to do this yet. And we'd love to see your woofies. Look at all those cameras going on. Oh, look at this. This is so festive. Hey, friends. Oh my goodness. This is very different seeing your faces. All right, Rachel's taking our picture. It is so good to see all of these smiling faces, and I cannot wait to see you in Raleigh in 2 years. Am I right? Oh my goodness. All right, Rachel, are we good? Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be happy to answer any questions that anyone has. And while you're thinking about that or raising your hand, I'm going to give you the date for Spark 2023 so that you can go ahead and put it on your calendar and start dreaming about plane tickets and shared meals and things that we're going to do together one day. So Spark 2023, we are going to convene the week of April 17th. Don't know yet what that's going to look like, but we're going to save the date because that's the first thing to do, right? We're going to have something to look forward to 2 years from now. I hope that you will all come. And I want to mention that Mallory Dieter has been in preparation. She's been I'm not going to get the right term, Mallory, the assistant coordinator of Spark this year. And she is going to take it on for Spark 2023. And I bet Mallory would love volunteers to help coordinate Spark 2023. So if you would like to get involved, feel free to reach out to her or to Dana or to any of us. We would love to have your participation. I'm just going to keep talking because I have more things to say, but throw me your questions if you have them. I want to thank the entire Spark organizing committee. If you are here and you got your camera on, you want to just give us a wave. They really have worked so hard, not only this year, but of course last year, planning an in-person Spark, which then was not able to happen, and they stuck with it and brought us to this point. So a huge thanks to our planning committee for bringing us a wonderful event this week. Do you have any questions for me? All right. Fantastic. Well, then we're going to have our Spark Social. I invite you to stick around. We're going to have just an opportunity for some informal interaction. I'd love to catch up with each of you, even if you only have a minute to say hi. That would be fantastic, and for you to see each other. So stick around for that. We're going to get started with that in just a few minutes, but you don't have to leave. It's just going to be right here in this same call. So the last thing I need to do officially is thank the park staff one more time. In particular, a huge shout out to Dana Dubas and Lauren Caddick and Rachel Cox, who have each done all kinds of things to make this happen. And I haven't said it yet, but did you get one of these? Hope everybody got one of these fantastic boxes of swag, and I want to thank my team for making that happen as well. This really has come together thanks to the hard work of so many people. So thank you, thank you, thank you to the whole park team. All right, well then, Rachel.
Eva, there's a question in the chat from
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is the 1 of 4 versus 1 of 3 difference a matter of total funds? More funds for 1 of 3. Are you referring to the out-of-state, in-state? Where's Bob? Yes. No, so the decision to go to about a quarter out of state this year was due to the proportion of our applicant pool being about a fourth out of state. We currently pay the same amount for out-of-state scholarships that we pay for in-state scholarships. And it's been that way for quite some time now, thanks to a provision from North Carolina legislature that allows us and other UNC system schools to pay in-state tuition for out-of-state students who are on an academic scholarship. So the cost for us is the same for all of the students, and it truly is a question of the diversity that we want represented in the program. So particularly for those of you who are not in North Carolina, spread the word, wear that NC State gear. You can use those Zoom backgrounds we sent you wherever you go. We would really value your help in continuing to recruit exceptional candidates for the Park Scholarship from all over the United States and beyond. Thanks for the question, Bob. And I see there might be one more question. Let's see here. Okay, after a year of virtual programming activities, does the program intend to keep any of these virtual events in the future? Matt, that is a great question. And maybe in a lot of your circles too, that is a big question. I think we've all demonstrated to ourselves this year that we could do things that maybe we didn't think we could do, or that might have been culturally strange, but are now quite normal. For example, the alumni reunions that we've had this year, we had Zoom a year ago. We could have done that before, but the pandemic kind of got us thinking and doing some things. Ooh, did you see what I did there? Got us thinking and doing some things in new ways. So that would be an example of something that did not exist before, but I think will continue, and of course will be virtual. As far as the programming though, I think the jury is out on that at this point. We certainly want to bring as much back in person as we can, and it's just a question of what might it look like to enhance the programming with some of these virtual components. For example, having speakers, again, from that wider geographic reach for learning labs or for other kinds of activities. I think that the technology is going to change rapidly again. For example, the classroom technology that might facilitate a speaker being present and really being able to see the students and hear them well, and the reverse. Not sure that that has been super strong in the past, but I think that's going to accelerate quickly. And so those kinds of things might make it possible for us to bring in some of you as speakers to current students in ways that might not have worked very well, technologically speaking, in the past. So we'll see. We want to innovate, we want to grow, and we want to stay connected to our community wherever they are. But we're also eager to get back in the classroom and we are eager to get back on our retreats, to get back together. And so I don't want to, I can't wait to do those things. I can't wait to hug my students and alumni and parents and all of you. Thank you for the question. Are there any others? Okay. All right. Well, it's 5 o'clock. So that means it is time to transition to our Spark Social. Transition music.